It's another hell episode, and man, do I have a lot of stupid ideas to try out today. Which all starts off with us making the medium quarry. And I'm thinking about placing it somewhere around here. Yep, that looks a pretty bad place for it to me, so let's go ahead with it. And I think we will get a builder that we don't really care too much about to come out here and build this for us. That builder, of course, is Bernard, who is upgrading our delivery man to tier 4 at the moment, just awaiting in a clock and an item frame. And I'm pretty sure that the item frames will be being made by our Fletcher at the moment, so it's just the clocks that we'll need to worry about, which the mechanic will now be able to make them. We do have a few other items here in the open requests, so I'm just going to very quickly run around and teach some different builds how to make those items. So now they're off the list, apart from the cobblestone, which will just request a few stacks of it from heaven to fire it over to hell. And that seems starting to come in already. But of course I'm not done yet, seeing as Karine now wants some items, which are simple recipes that we can teach to the sawmill operator. Apart from the note block, which is a mechanic's hut build. Hopefully you have made our clocks then, which she has. Brilliant. And while I'm here, maybe the Fletcher has made up those frames for us, which again they have. Right then Bernard, that's all the items that you require for this deliveryman hut, so get on with it. Karine is still beavering away with her university, so yep. Charlie is upgrading her composter and nearly has everything in for it. Bernard is looking for another item frame. Man, I'm glad that you're probably going to die in the lava here. Ernesto is doing up our farmer for us, which is good because this is going to help us with the beetroots that he's also going to need for the build. And finally, Dean is upgrading our glassblower's hut to tier 3. Quite a few items here for it actually. And that is Charlie just being killed to a mob. That's a real shame. But at least on a positive note, that is Bernard finished with our deliveryman's hut, so hopefully he will pick up the quarry next, which he has done. Grand. Right, so there is going to be quite a few items here for this that I'll need to teach and get for them. And the Undertaker has just resurrected Charlie. Very, very interesting. Also, Rylan is our new builder who has taken over the job of Charlie. Oh, she's right there. And she's become a farmer. That's very, very interesting. Nicely done, Undertakers. Right then, Bernard, what are we after? Nothing here so far. Beetroots for Ernesto though, which will be a heaven item, but what are you actually needing here, Bernard? You're just awaiting in a pickaxe. Well, I'll quickly head over to heaven, get a beetroot, and also get a diamond pickaxe, and that will allow things to continue on here. Although, come to think of it, I don't think heaven actually grows any beetroots themselves. Oh no, they do. They have absolutely plenty of them. Lovely stuff. Right then, chaps, what are we getting up to here? Clarissa, our miner, is looking for 32 crossed oak timber frames. I've had a spot of bother with you recently here, Clarissa, seeing as you kept getting stuck in your mines. Not quite sure why you're asking for something different now, but I can teach that to our sawmill operator. Which that should now be done and off of the open request list, which it is. Grand. Just black dye that we need. I would much prefer that our dyer would make black dye from coal, so instead of always requesting charcoal to make it, we'll just simply remove that recipe, and hopefully now they will stop asking for that after I cancel it. But I will now need to teach him these different stained glasses. Right, those are now saved, so let's get straight back over to hell then. After we maybe grab a stack of diamonds. Right then, Bernard, here are some diamond pickaxes for you, and we'll go stick our beetroots into a stash. And hopefully that is now everything off the open request list so that I can get on with other things today. Oh, not Ernesto. Why do we have iron golems if all of our builders are dying? Same principle here for our cobblestone timber frames to the sawmill operator. And the enchanting table is another mechanics recipe, which they will need some diamonds for, so I'll just leave some in their warehouse. A lot of people are dying here today, so what I think I'm going to do is come into a guards tower, and we're going to change our Knight Prudence, maybe over to one of these new Druid workers for us. So there we are, we now have Prudence as our first Druid for this colony. Man, I hate that splash sound. I really doubt that she's going to be much use down here, but you never know. Right then, Bernard, let's get to building. Well, we've already made a start here, so that's some of this spruce cobblestone now going down. This shouldn't require him having to dig down into the lava. That will be our quarrier whenever we hire them. So I am hoping that the initial construction here really won't be that difficult for him to do. So I've changed Bernard's building mode here from the default one to an inward circle style, which what he's trying to do at the moment is head over to the platforms there, but he can't do because of all of the lava. So if I just very carefully make my way over to this, then hopefully that will allow him to continue building, which yes, he's already starting to come over here to build, but because he's got this inward circle building mode now, what he will do is just continue down the length here and just go around the build rather than going backwards and forwards with it. I do think for this build in particular, that is going to be the best method to avoid him falling into the lava. One of our builders just upgraded our farm to tier 4, which is grand because it now means that our farmer will be able to grow another crop. So we will teach Charlie how to grow some beetroot. You've had an exciting day so far, Charlie. Starting off as a builder, getting killed to a mob, being resurrected, and now being brought back as a farmer. And Prudence is out here probably going to throw potions at you. And of course, because I spent all of that time away, that whole 10 seconds away, Bernard managed to fall into the lava, so we've now got Romania as our new builder. And there's Charlie just been killed to another mob. Okay, she really isn't having a good day whatsoever. But Romina is making some fairly decent progress over there. I am just a bit worried about the spruce wood that we have over the lava and it burning up. But we will deal with that in time, I think. I'm going to entrust that Romina will get on with the build or fall into lava. Either or works for me. Let's go check up on our university though, which its upgrade is coming along pretty nicely here, but I'm more interested in the researches. In particular with our remembrance researches, because this is going to give us access to these resurrection chances, which for chance 1 we only require 1 gas tier, which we have a few of them in stock. So we will get the resurrection chance upgrade, which will improve our resurrection chance by 1%. We'll grab the grave decayed research, which will allow our graves to last another 2 minutes. And finally, the Undertaker emergency research, which will give our Undertakers the ability to run. Once our university becomes tier 4, we can go for the Raising the Dead research, which will give our Undertakers the ability to use Totems of Undying to assist in resurrections. That's a pretty expensive method to resurrect our villagers here, but I suppose we always could. But beforehand, we will need to go for Resurrection Chance 2, which will improve our resurrection chances by another 2%, but this will require 16 chorus fruits, which will require a trip to the end, which, to be fair, may not be that far off the cards, especially with how quickly our builds have been going here. And whilst we've been gone, Romina has been making some tremendous progress with the quarry and is now putting on the roof to it. So this really isn't going to take that much longer until it's complete. We are just finishing up the crane part of it at the moment and putting in the final touches towards it, and then it will be done. I'm just really worried that the second that she has completed it, then it's going to go up in flames. But so long as the main building is complete, then I can get the quarrier to come out and actually get on with stage 2 of this. So it can burn to its heart's content. Prudence! Appreciate it. And that's her just finished it there. Good job, Romina. You move on to another build, and I'm going to go hire a quarrier. Alright then, Giero, you are going to go from being a miner, and we'll fire you from that, and you're going to become a quarrier instead. And he's already beaten me to this quarry here, but yes, we will get you working in this shortly. He's actually found quite a few different ores whilst he was down in his other mine shafts there. Very interesting. But hopefully he will now get to work here before this entire building goes up in flames, because there's only so much of this that I'm prepared to do. And he has now started construction, which is not going to last very long at all here. I don't really care about this cosmetic stuff. I really want you to just dig down. Because our miners, as well as our quarriers, hopefully, both have the same trait where they won't burn to death whenever they are set alight by fire or by lava. So I am hoping that he is going to be able to dig his way down here, remove all of the lava, and not be horribly burned to death. There is going to be absolutely nothing left of this build by the time it's done. This is such a stupid idea. Maybe by the time that he's filled out this area here with our cobblestone frames, that may be enough to stop things being set alight. Well, here's a good test of the flames. So our quarrier is on fire, that's good, and he is not burning to death. But the more that he digs down, then hopefully the less things will be set on fire. Whenever he does complete this quarry, I'll get our builder back out here to repair it, if any of it remains. There is nothing in our open requests that I will need to deal with at the moment, so I'm actually quite happy just standing here and supervising. A million years later, and we have finally completed the quarry. And let me tell you something. If you ever wish to waste away an entire afternoon and an evening, then definitely build one of these quarry builds within the Nether. A whole heap of fun this was. Anyway, thank you Owen for doing this for us, and I'm going to get you going back to being a miner now. But yes, we do now have this quarry up, which, as I've already stated, has taken quite some time to do. The builder has even been able to come out and repair all of the damage done to it. But you may be wondering to yourself now, why did I do this? And there are numerous reasons as to why I did it. First of all, I wanted to see if our quarrier would dig up any ancient debris for us, which he did. And that should hopefully have already been processed by our colony, so we should have a few pieces of scraps within our warehouse. So that pretty much then covers my full netherite gear. Secondly, it killed quite a bit of time, which allowed our builders to get on with some other builds and upgrades around our colony. So I believe that most of the buildings here within our agricultural district are now up to their tier 4 variants, including the university, which does now mean that we can go for some higher researches. And lastly, but most importantly, the reason that I wanted this down here is so that I could place these placeholder blocks on either side of the opening of the quarry. And anyone who has seen my tutorial on the quarry will now know exactly where I'm going with this. But I'm going to use the scan tool on either side to set some positions, and then I'm going to save these dimensions as a new schematic. Then we're going to make a quick trip to the ocean, where I'm then going to place that schematic over some water and put some more placeholder blocks down so that I can grab some dimensions from here. And hopefully, now that I've scanned that in correctly, I should have a nice schematic of some water, which I can then layer that schematic over the quarry and we can create ourselves a rather wonderful aquarium. And that looks pretty good to me, so good fight all of the mobs who have spawned underneath. But let's go ahead with it. We might need to get them some kelp for this, but that's fine. So let's set this water decoration right to the top of the list. And yes, we definitely do have quite a few upgrades to go. But whatever our builder here for our agricultural district, Jose, is doing, you're going to stop that and you're going to make us an aquarium instead. And he's picked up that job already. Yes, he's going to request in some kelp, but he might just get on with the water aspects of it without the need for kelp. Maybe, or he's going to tear apart the building first. I wasn't expecting you to actually be doing anything like that, but fair enough. In hindsight, I probably should have made this water schematic one block layer deeper, but I'm an idiot, so we won't be expecting too much. What are we doing, Jose? Ooh, water. The delivery system has given him his kelp, so he's going to put it over there and now start putting a lot of the water around the place. So, little mobs, I think this might go badly for you in a second. There is something so very, very satisfying about watching all of this. What an absolute beautiful sight. Hello little hoglin, I get the feeling this might be your first and last water that you will ever see here. In fact, I can guarantee that for most of the mobs, this will be the first and only time that they will ever see water. And also apologies if the video starts to lag a bit here. My FPS seems to be having some issues at the moment, and I'm not really sure why. Come on in little hoglins, the water's just perfect. I think we're about 3/4 of the way done with this now. He is just finishing off the little area here, and just one more quadrant to go. I really do hope that all of the mobs really do appreciate what I'm doing for them here, but I get the feeling that this little piggy down the bottom there is about to become very, very unhappy. Hello piggies, are you enjoying the water? Pretty sure he's loving it. Nice arrow. Well done Jose, that's him pretty much completed this then. The final little squares to go, and we now have this entire quarry covered with water. So hopefully we will get a few aquatic animals spawning in here at some point. We seem to be having a lot of kelp spawning in at the moment, which is interesting. But let's now move on to the next part, which is to finally place in our fisher's hut. I don't have a clue if this is going to work whatsoever, but I have a little area here prepared for the fisher's hut, which this is it at tier 5, and hopefully they will use the water here for their fishing supplies, but I'm honestly not expecting much. And we will maybe see if we can get Jose making that up for us very quickly, which he has now done, and it's a pretty simple build. Excellent. And whilst he gets on with that, what else have our builders been getting up to? Karine has finished off her university and has moved on to the concrete mixer's hut. Seagrass may be an issue here. Samir is upgrading a graveyard to tier 4 at the moment and pretty much has everything here, apart from the red stained glass panes. Eliza is another builder who I don't recognise, but is upgrading a citizen's house to tier 4. 3 blaze rods are going to be required for that. That's a difficult task. Jose, of course, is making up her fisherman's hut at the moment. with some wooden tools, so I will need to assist him. But finally, Dean is upgrading a delivery man to tier 4 and has pretty much got everything in for it. But we have a few different items here in the open requests as expected, so I've got a little bit of work ahead of me here, helping him and getting those requests sorted. Prudence! I swear to man! Jose is nearly completed the fisherman's hut, just putting in some water into here as well, so maybe the fishermen will just simply use the water here, but regardless they've got another option should they wish. And that is Samir just finished off one of our graveyards to tier 4. Excellent stuff, guys. Just missed it, but that's Jose now completed this, so we'll get this upgraded to tier 2 and then hopefully to tier 3, because at tier 3 we can then go for the sieving upgrade, which will unlock our sifter. And that will be another build that we can place down here in our industry district. I think Dean just finished upgrading our concrete mixer's hut here to tier 2, so it is set for tier 3 at the moment, and this is looking pretty nice so far. The dyer's hut beside it is at tier 3 as well, just awaiting upgrade to tier 4, and I actually think a lot of the other builds around our industry district are also now up at tier 3 and awaiting to be upgraded to tier 4. But again, Jose has picked up the fisherman build, upgrading it to tier 2, and he now has everything that he requires for it. So this building will be upgraded very quickly. Not sure if we do have a worker inside it or not yet. We do actually. We have Ania here, who is just looking for a fishing rod. Right then, Ania, take your fishing rod, and that's your building upgraded to tier 2. So Jose, straight back out here for tier 3. And Ania is off, so where are you going to fish? Just into your own hut. Would you not care to fish in a more impressive fishing spot just across from you? No? But I think that is definitely enough for today. We have certainly experimented around with hell and gotten a few things up and working here that I really didn't think that we would. So thank you very much for watching today's episode of MineColonies Heaven and Hell. And until next time, bye for now everyone. Bye bye.